Wow.
You're lighting up back there, you know.
Oh.
That's how we find you. You light up.
I get very nervous when there's a camera. But I also love it. What I wanted to ask was, I spent a lot of time and love wanting this one particular thing, and it showed up. It manifested, and it was exactly as I had imagined, as incandescent and beautiful. And then it disappeared. And what I wanted to ask was, when I was in it, I was an absolute, as I must have been, vibrational match to it. And I'm not sure how it disappeared.
Do you believe that there is always more to want?
Yes.
And are you certain? Now, we're not trying to guide your thoughts about this, but are you certain that, as wonderful as it was as far as you could reach on that subject?
Gosh, no, it wasn't.
So how does someone who's experienced something extraordinary, how do they reach beyond extraordinary? Because you got to do it, you know. You can't just top off at extraordinary. In other words,
yes.
It doesn't matter how, from other standards, from others' point of view, how wonderful something appears to be. When you are in the middle of it, there is always something more. So our question is really two parts. Do you think that your desire was in place? Do you think that the realization of that desire was a perfect realization for all that you had wanted, or just a lot of it?
Around that subject, because I had experienced it in many different forms before, when it came into alignment and it came into focus, it so far exceeded any experience that I had of that. Yes. Before that.
We acknowledge that. And did your desires grow within it? That's really the question. Did your desire grow within it? And is it possible that your desire could have grown beyond that specific?
Yes, it's possible.
It has to be. It has to be, because you're not the exception that you never get it done. Now, we know it's annoying, because when you've wanted something for a while and it comes to be, there's a part of you that sort of wants to settle in that for a while, but that's never been your style, has it?
No.
You're always reaching for something more. So are you worried that you'll reach again and find again and then lose again?
No, I just want it back.
So think about, and this will be easy for you because you know how to do this. Think about what it is that you want back, not what it is that's gone. That's the thing. It sounds easy sometimes and it sounds hard sometimes, but that is the work.
So when this thing disappeared, and there was an incredible sadness that went with that, but then the real work began, and the coming back into alignment with exactly what you said, which is the feeling of it.
But do you think you came back into alignment with exactly what it was, or with what it had now become?
It must have been with what it had now become.
That's the most important thing. In other words, if you can accept that it has become more, and that the coming back of the more that it has become will be more satisfying, because you can't stand still and you can't go back. So if you just focus there. Sometimes we think that we want to give you a reason to believe or a reason to expect, but you're past that. You know how to line up. We want you, though, to not work too hard at Don't beat up on yourself as if there has been some loss, because there hasn't. There's only been gain. And when you focus upon that absolute, then what you want and more will come.
That is a very challenging moment, because the self-beating up that happens when you've had the thing in your hand,
Yeah.
and then like sand, it's gone through,
Yeah.
to stay in the place of, what did I do to lose it?
That's why we asked the first question. Do you believe that there is more to come? And do you believe that you can top out at wonderful? Because you can't. Your life will never be at the place where you say, there, I'm just going to hold it there. You can't hold it there. You're always reaching for something more. And we are not saying to you that there were unsatisfied things in this creation, but we are saying to you there are more satisfying things in that creation now than were there before.
Right. Okay.
Well, just look at it this way. You can't stand still, and you never get it done. And we say this to people quite often recently. What's it going to take for, what would it really take to ring your bells? What would it really take to ring your bells? And people are not embracing, we love you very much, but you're not embracing contrast very well. And if you could accept the value of it, rather than the immediately jumping to the wrong conclusion that you've done something wrong, or that there was something more you need to learn in order to really get it right, because it's not like that. It isn't even remotely like that. It's just that you are a strong reacher, and when you are reaching for something that is extraordinary, then sometimes you take big bounces into even more extraordinary, and nothing less than really extraordinary on this topic will please you.
Right.
Yeah.
May I ask you another question?
Yes.
In the job that I do, I find there's never a loss of self within it, but there is definitely a creation, sometimes of extraordinarily challenging and hard things. And I just made a film that required me to go to places I've never been to before. And I wondered about the creation of grids and how your point of attraction is shifted and changed when you are, even though I'm pretending, my body doesn't know that I'm not incredibly sad, emotional, angry, whatever it is. And I wondered how much that was then pulling in.
Well, it is true that any time you spend in any vibration, it does affect your overall grid, your overall vibration. But the words we want to say to you are, if you keep it in perspective, as you continue to remind yourself that I am pretending, that this is not who I am, and then as you focus upon the value of that pretense, as you focus upon the
Entertainment.
honing of your craft, the entertainment that is there, we're not going to say to anyone ever that practicing a vibration does not have an effect on your frequency. But as we talk to all of you, your frequencies are vast. In other words, there's a lot that makes up your frequency. Your memories from the past, even some cellular memories, your contemplation of your future, the things that you're observing. So when you think about how we're reaching for the word, how stable, what really well-being is at the basis of your point of attraction, then you can put that in the category where it deserves to be, as inconsequential given everything else that you've got going on. But be mindful of it. When you're not in that mode, when you're not practicing that vibration for that reason, practice the vibrations that really do serve you by reminding you. We also think it can be helpful to acknowledge that you have the ability to conjure a vibration at will by the power of your focus. Could there be anything more productively understood in a conversation like the ones that we are having here today than that? That I can produce a vibration at will. And my overall vibration is that of well-being.
So why is it so easy? It's easy and simple and effortless to do when I'm working, but in my life I'm
because
just
it's pretending,
rubbish.
and because there are no stakes. It's pretending. because the villains aren't real, the drama isn't real, the contrast isn't real.
Would you say that that is absolutely true, really, in your life then as well, if you could just look at it that way?
If you were to know that, it is true. There is nothing real in your experience that you do not make real. A lot of people stand in a role in life that they maintain for a very long time. In other words, it's easy to slip in to a role of being taken advantage of, or into a role of people not appreciating, or people are assigning themselves those roles all the time, but they don't move from project to project and then change the vibration. You have the advantage of doing that. You're moving from project to project and changing the vibration. Just make sure that the overall role that you're practicing is one of the success and joy and fun that is at the basis of who you are. Everything else will take a backseat, a way backseat, a way backseat.
Great. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.